Welcome to the Flat Tire Podcast, starring Christopher Torrance, Sinclair Killander, and Cason Ringenberg.
You pronounced his name wrong, but I'll dance to it anyways.
It's a little off.
The YouTube crowd's getting a show. The Spotify crowd, get on YouTube.
Or just watch it on both, honestly.
Yeah, just boost our numbers. I mean, I want
to influence NASCAR's decision on stuff too.
All right. Well, if you're noticing, if you're on YouTube, Joe is in the kitchen. Why is Joe in the kitchen? Joe, can you explain to us why you're in the kitchen?
I got served up a hot take on how you're wrong about that finish.
Okay.
What I don't want to stop you, Joe, but one thing I just noticed in the kitchen is that is the exact same espresso machine I just bought.
I don't know what that is.
Is
that thing over there?
Maker? Yeah.
Is this thing? That's the toaster. I'm sorry. All right. You guys are wrong. The finish was set correctly. All right. Not because of safety, not because Denny Hamlin agreed with me, not because Jeff Gluck agreed with me. I haven't listened to Dale Jr.'s podcast yet, but I'm sure he agreed with me. That's the major part of the industry. They all agree with me. You guys are in the wrong. I'm serving that up for you guys today.
Is that the only part of your hot take?
Yeah. I ain't got much. You guys are basically eating like one piece of sushi and you're going to live with it.
Hold on.
Oh,
you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Oh, no. He's in the kitchen.
You're wrong. I'm in the kitchen. I don't care what Denny Hamlin thinks. I don't. I, as an amateur NASCAR watcher, am right. You're wrong. I discussed
Kenny
this yesterday.
Wallace cares.
Elton Sawyer's wrong. I like Herman. But anyways, Joe, is that all your hot takes? Cason, do you have a hot take?
No, I think the hot takes were yesterday.
This is just a continuation of how you guys are wrong.
No, Sunday/Monday. Being that this is going to release on Wednesday.
This man is correct yet again.
He is. Oh, that's all right. We left the kitchen, Joe. Enough of the hot takes. Okay. Excuse me. Wow. Burping on the pot already. All right. Hold on. Before we get going, Cason, what are you drinking on? I just saw you sipping on something.
We're sipping on a little Canadian whiskey, unfortunately.
Wow.
How's she going?
I guess technically it's made in Canada, but imported and bottled in America. So, go New Hampshire.
That makes it better.
I thought about drinking some Doc Holiday tonight, but I was gonna drink a Texas whiskey, kind of drink a whiskey of the area we're from, since I have a lot of whiskeys from a lot of different areas. But then I realized I don't have a Texas whiskey, so.
Well, okay, I like it. I'm sure that's going to be very popular with our one Canadian friend, or fan, or listener. Shout out Silver Bullet.
Hang on, Chris. I'm gonna take a swig of your wrong juice.
Please. Oh my gosh.
The real question is, Joe, where's that made?
All right.
That's Junior's vodka. It's got to be made.
It's awful. I mean, it's delicious.
Oh wait, I'm supposed to get out the Traveler vodka or the Traveler whiskey.
I'm drinking on the Daytona 500 Busch Light.
I'm drinking tea out of a gallon.
See, that's why you got to pour the High Rock in the tea and then chug it.
No.
Sounds like a Charlotte Motor Speedway activity.
It is. That is very much a Charlotte Motor Speedway activity. Catch me.
I like bourbon water.
I'll mix it in with this.
Oh, he's got the sun drop. That man knows ball. All right. We want to get on with the podcast and stop the shenanigans. We're going to talk about some news here. So the topics we're going over today is Parker Kligerman loses his appeal. So Corey Heim is officially the winner at the Daytona Trucks race. Chase Briscoe got docked 100 points and a lot of money. Lost James Small for a while due to I think bolts on the spoiler, something to do with that matter. And then Gilland and Cody Ware got a 10-point penalty, and then dodged to NASCAR, possibly. Any of those topics you guys want to start off with?
Um, Honestly, I think we can run through the first couple pretty fast. I mean, Kligerman disappointing. I think we were all excited watching him win. Joe, were you excited watching Kligerman win?
I I was excited to see him win, but it's just adds on to the disappointment from the Roval. So
Yeah,
it's extra more disappointing
being
knowing
in
that it couldn't be reversed.
being in person at the Roval was very disappointing, and then that was just like a layer on top.
What was more
He's
disappointing, Cason? Was it Tim not being able to close the deal at B Dubs, or was it Parker Kligerman getting robbed by NASCAR?
um, I think they were equally disappointing. I mean, I was kind of cheering for Sam Mayer to win just for the money I would have made off of that to pay back the parking that we had to pay.
Yeah,
Um, but it was pretty disappointing to me personally. Um, Chase Briscoe penalty kind of just hilarious to me considering how often Stuart Haas was penalized, and then he comes up from Stuart Haas and immediately gets penalized. Um, and I don't really have much to say on the Gilland Ware appeals, or not appeals, penalties.
yeah.
Um,
What were those again?
It was
I
10
didn't.
points.
No, I for what I didn't catch what it
Uh,
was.
I'm gonna be honest. I've been so tuned out. This is why I should, you know,
Write notes.
yeah. I knew
um,
about it last week, but it's been so long.
Oh, so it was last week. Okay.
Yeah,
I
because
think
we're a
All right.
week behind.
Oh,
the funny thing to me about Cody Ware getting penalized is that he wasn't penalized for anything else.
Um, they were docked 10 points for ballast not in proper ballast containers for pre-tech qualifying. So
okay. So even so before the 500. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't have much to say to any of that outside of the fact that um the Kligerman thing was disappointing and depressing. But I heard we're getting a diecast out of
I
it,
saw
so it
that.
can be the he won, he didn't win diecast, as
yeah.
Parker said himself.
I he can put it right next to his checker flag. He's not going to give back.
Hell, I would have taken the trophy.
I want
Like,
the.
I mean, what are they
Let's
going to
say
do?
I want the big fake check.
Reggie Bush him?
yeah, that's the thing I've learned. If for something ever happens and I'm somehow able to win a NASCAR race ever, it's not gonna happen. If it does, I'm taking that trophy in victory lane. Like, hold on, I got to go shit and go to the motorhome, the car, whatever. Lock that trophy in there, and it is not seeing the outside world until tech inspection's passed. And if it's not passed, I'm be like, oh, sorry, NASCAR, lost the trophy. Don't know where it's at. Oh, make another one. But
Um,
sorry, Kason.
yeah, I think it's just kind of disappointing to all of us. It's about my only point, I guess. The Dodge to NASCAR is more interesting. We haven't had another manufacturer since what year did Dodge leave?
2012. I do have something to say on the Briscoe and Gilland. I'm not counting Cody Guerre. That's not really going to hurt him too bad. I mean, he's going to finish 10 points below 35th already. So,
This man
um,
hates weebs.
um, I think that Gilliland penalty could definitely come back to haunt him, especially if that team overperforms. Uh, there's not a lot of winners around the cut line. I think he's a dark horse to compete for the final playoff spot there, like the 16th, 15th spot and on points. So that could come back to bite him. Chase Briscoe now has to win, which I think we don't know how he's going to do in the JGR cars, but he definitely has his tracks he's better at than most. So like Phoenix, Darlington definitely come to mind of tracks he could end up winning at and locking a spot in. But I think because of that, it's probably going to be a tough road ahead for him to make the playoffs on points solely. So sorry, that's all I had to say on that. But Dodge NASCAR, that's the important news of the week.
I mean, I think those are really good points, though, Chris. I mean, Briscoe coming in as someone who, well, I think the big thing just to point out, first of all, too, is that unlike last year when we had Swarz and Byron winning. We have Byron and Bell winning, who are almost inevitably going to win more races this year. So
Yeah.
I think, I mean, you get a weird winner, like a not a weird winner, but you get like a Chase Elliott, William Byron, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Talladega win, or someone of those drivers that's going to probably win again regardless, or be running top five, top 10 all year.
Mhm.
Um, it could really hurt for the Gilliland and especially the Briscoe penalties because I mean Briscoe was someone who probably could have been 14 to 18 in points regardless, and now he's inevitably not going to get 14 to 18 in points unless he runs really, really well the rest of the year. And I think the Gilliland point's a really good point too because if there's only like I don't know 10 winners this year in the first 26 races, which isn't out of the ordinary if Kyle Larson and William Byron are up to the usual shenanigans.
Yeah.
Like I have something. All right. It's did Prisco win a race in his rookie year?
No,
No.
I don't think. I
Oh,
think
I
he
don't think so
won.
either.
I think he
He
won
he,
his second
he
year,
okay.
the second or third race at Phoenix.
Okay. He has 2 wins. He's doing the opposite of Joey Logano. Say hello to your future fraudulent champion 3 times over, Chase Briscoe.
But will Chase Briscoe swoop in and steal the was it even year Joey Logano
Yeah,
magic?
No,
that
he's
yeah,
he's gonna do odd
Okay.
years.
yeah.
So
He's
he's
gonna
gonna
do
win
odd.
this year.
Briscoe's gonna do odd. It only makes sense.
Um but yeah, Chris, on to your point about Dodge to NASCAR, I'd be pretty excited for it, especially in I mean, what teams would go there. I think we all kind of have one team in mind with Trackhouse we would be kind of really intrigued on just due to I don't want to say a lack of speed, but with
I mean,
Spire kind of getting the it seems like Hendrick support, Hendrick's money, um, and they've already looked better this year, and Hosar was good last year. McDowell, he was pretty solid when he's not crashing. Haley's an improvement. I think that team could really pretty easily jump to two at
yeah,
Chevy, and with Chastain and Suarez and SVG being three at Chevy, with SVG probably winning a road course or two, and Chastain maybe winning like a summer race, maybe not, and Suarez just warming the seat for Connor Zilic, which tune it, get ready for the later part of this podcast.
no, I agree with the track. Sorry, Joe, were you gonna say something?
Oh, he said something, do it later. Okay, I'm just gonna hold off on my comment.
Um, no, I think another reason that Trackhouse moves on is because they are ECR motors. So Richard Childress has been really slow. I mean, they were lacking in the motor department all year last year, while Spire took a step up. Hendricks always really good. You had Trackhouse, which was kind of off compared to what they were. And this is also another case of maybe either they're spreading their resources too thin or Trackhouse isn't getting enough support from Chevy because ever since the Mr. H call to Ross Chastain, that Trackhouse team has not been the same. But they are on RCR ECR engines, so they've been off. If they continue to be off this year, is that you're not going to jump the pecking order over Hendrick in the Chevy camp. So I believe that's why they would probably be the first ones to jump because they're the team that has the most resources, that has the most to gain by becoming a new manufacturer's number one team.
I mean, not to have a long awkward pause, but yeah. Um, I do agree that I think that they have the most to gain. I think there, especially with, I mean, we all know Zilic is going to end up there one way or another in the near future. You have SVG who's getting better. I mean, honestly, watching the Atlanta race, I forgot to mention this in the pod after the Atlanta race. He was probably my most impressed driver in that race because once he got up to the front, he kind of held it up there for a while, which is pretty impressive considering this is his first full year in Cup, and
Yeah,
he's only been running ovals for a year.
yeah. I mean, even if it's a drafting track, he stuck around the top 15 after he did get up there. It wasn't like he like went to the back like some other drivers will do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for Dodge, and even if it takes a year or two, I think they're almost certainly going to be pushing the chips in on Zilich, and he's only what 18 at this point in time.
Yeah,
Um, you get it when he's 20. Chastain's, I don't think Chastain is he over 30 yet? Is he even pushing 30 yet?
I would say he's probably 30, 31.
So he's kind of in his prime as a driver. Um, yeah, he's 32 right now. But I guess my point is if you can get horsepower and you're lacking in, I mean, heck, Kyle Busch is one of the better NASCAR drivers that have been alive since 2000, and he looks slow a lot of weeks that aren't plate tracks.
Hey guys, hold on one second.
Yeah, but just discussing, Trackhouse to Dodge, I think that they have the most to gain, but also Dodge in a way has the most to gain because they have marketable drivers in Chastain, in SVG, in Zilich, and regardless if they go to a four car, stay a three car, which will probably stay a three car, I'm
Well,
guessing with.
they can't go to four cars.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Unchartered fourth.
Yeah,
I
you
was
can't.
gonna
Well,
say,
you can't do four charters now.
No, unchartered.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say that opens up another can of worms that we probably
Yeah.
shouldn't get into right now with
I don't know if you want
lawsuits in NASCAR.
I don't know if you want to bring it up, but NASCAR does have those 4 extra charters that they're holding on to.
That would be interesting to see if Dodge does come in and Trackhouse does go to Dodge, what they would do with those extra charters.
This is the can of worms I didn't want to open up, Chris.
Okay, well, all right. Well, we'll shove the worms
How are
back
you going to sell them?
But yeah, I think that's my biggest point is that regardless what happens with Suarez, and I think heck, it even seemed like Suarez this week with crashing seemed really disappointed because Atlanta is probably his best oval track. I mean, he's been a top five in 5 of the 6 that were raced up until yesterday.
Yeah.
But um, I think Trackhouse and Dodge have the most to gain from each other than any other prospective team that would realistically go to Dodge and become their flagship program.
Yeah, I'm would be interested to see what happens in the lower series because I definitely think if they do step in, it's going to be what next year, year after next in the trucks, and then probably a slow progression. But is that going to lead to a performance dip in Trackhouse if Chevy knows they're 1 foot out the door and they're not going to want to share a lot of info with them, considering they're going to be switching to a rival? So, I mean, this is a long conversation we could have, but I mean, we don't even know if it's Trackhouse is going to go. I mean, it could be a whole new team. It could be what are we talking about? Legacy probably has this would be another decent one, but with them being only Toyota's third team, I'm sure Toyota would try like hell to keep them. We mentioned Colleague. This is not on the pod, but we mentioned this just after the pod last night, or I'm sorry, Sunday night. That these are the possible teams we think, but if they go to trucks, what do we all agree? Thor Sport would probably be the one to jump ship.
You have to think it's Thor Sport. You have to think it's almost a new team in Xfinity that would kind of go there. I guess I personally don't see any of the kind of big teams in Xfinity moving over there unless we get like a Haas situation.
Were you looking at the teams list like I was?
No, I was just kind of thinking in my head, like I'm
Oh,
trying to think through like relevant teams in my head, and I just don't see any of the big ones moving over there. Joe, I guess now that you're the expert looking at the teams, do you think there's
I'd
anyone
say
that's like
predominantly there's only looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Toyotas and like 5 Fords, and everyone else is a Chevy.
like
Does Dodge really want Cope Family Racing as their leading Dodge
but
Hey,
like
hey,
outside of like
I don't want to hear
Junior
any
and
Derek Cope hate.
or Alpha Prime Racing?
Tommy Joe Martins, Green is screaming somewhere.
Jordan Anderson, I could see maybe.
but like Joe, my point is outside of like Junior and RCR.
RCR.
Is there really any flagship even Chevy programs? Like
No.
there's just so many kind of smaller teams, it seems like in the Xfinity series, that I almost think there'd have to be
Well,
like a new team popping up in a manufacturer if one moves over to Dodge or in Dodge itself.
I
you'd
would
have
say Jordan Anderson would probably be the top
well,
when it comes to Chevy.
you'd have to imagine that it'd probably be a new team case, and because if Trackhouse, let's just say for shits and giggles, Trackhouse is the team that moves to Dodge, they themselves would either start a Xfinity Series team, or it'd be a situation like Tricon where it's the Dodge team. They just have like a David Gilliland type. It's or like the TRD with well yeah with Tricon, and then kind of like Ford does with Haas. So maybe this is where Kyle Busch goes. Maybe this is how Kyle Busch gets his truck team and Xfinity team.
So you're saying Dodge is gonna be like, you're making an Xfinity team, just like Ford made Yates make a Busch Series team for Casey Kane.
Exactly.
I mean,
Okay.
that's honestly not a terrible theory.
I mean, you can have as
With
many
Kyle
Busch
Busch.
teams as you want, or Xfinity teams if you want. You can have 10 of them down there if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, my favorite scenario that's not going to happen is that RFK goes over there and we see Brad Keselowski in a Dodge again.
That is not
Never.
happening.
But it's not going to happen.
That is not going to happen. As long as Jack Roush is living.
Let's say that would be a cold day in hell for Jack Roush. He'd have
well,
to crash another helicopter or plane, whatever one he crashed into. Not a
all
very
right.
good pilot.
Moving on. Does anyone else have anything to say about Dodge coming to NASCAR other than it's exciting and we might see Trackhouse move on and me fantasizing about Kyle Busch opening up a truck and Xfinity team again?
Go ahead, Cason.
I was going to say I have no thoughts other than the fact that it is exciting to hopefully see more well-supported teams in the lower series and um someone like Trackhouse or any other team that would become Dodge's flagship actually just getting top tier support.
So I just quickly Googled it. Ford has Front Row Motorsports down there. I totally forgot about them.
Yep.
Yeah, but they're trucks only.
Yeah. Nice, I could see being the next Dodge team down there in a truck series.
Actually,
Yeah.
not a bad theory.
I mean, actually, no, that would probably be what would happen if Trackhouse does move because Nice and Trackhouse have a pretty strong relationship. I don't know if that's just through Chastain or what, but you constantly see like if a Trackhouse guy makes a truck start, it's usually in one of those Nice trucks.
That's probably the only one I see down there. Unless what is this? McAnally. Hell, I can't read. I'm sorry.
McAnally.
Yeah, that'd be the only other one.
I think they've
That's
been
just Chevy.
I don't know if I think they used to be Toyota when they were just running ARCA. I could be way off there. But I think they're a pretty strong Chevy. Are they the Chevy team? I'm trying to think who's no, that's Spire.
They were a Toyota team.
They weren't or were?
They were in 2018 to 2022.
Okay. Well, okay, so
No, 2021, I'm
trucks,
sorry.
yeah. Okay. So I mean, yeah, that's another good one. All right, well, I guess moving on to our preview for Circuit of the Americas. On our notes here, it says Byron won last year's Cup race there. Larson won the Xfinity race, and Corey Heim won the Trucks race. But since it looks like the Truck Series has moved their road course races to Watkins Glen, Lime Rock, and the Charlotte Roval, they have cut the Trucks COTA race. So we only have Xfinity and Cup for today. So we're going to move into our top two drivers in qualifying, and I guess tee off with Cason here.
I got Reddick getting the pole. I think his average start here is like 3.8 or something. And then I have Christopher Bell on the outside. He's an average star of like 8.6, 8.5, high eights, high mid eights, I should say. Um, and especially coming off a win last week, as interesting as the win was, um, I think he'll have a little momentum. He typically drives Coda well, and with the new reconfiguration of Coda, I have those two. I mean, they're two of the better drivers in the series at adapting to new tracks. I have them as my one and two.
I guess moving on, I'm picking Reddick also to get the pole. That stat did jump out to me. Qualifies very well here. He's just very good on the road courses in general. And Byron, I think his starting average is a little bit lower, but he's always fast and always qualifies well, just in general, not just at this track. With the reconfiguration, I didn't want to put too much weight on these stats, and that's kind of like when I was picking my drivers to watch. That was something I had to keep in mind. This isn't the same track. I mean, it's a lot of it's the same, but there's a couple sections that are going to be different. So I just went with Byron. I felt like he's fast. He's going to be on a roll. It's early in the season. This is Byron's time. P2.
I now everyone's gonna say I love Larson. Huge fan these days. These times are changing.
They're changing me.
Easy there, Timothy.
I got Kyle Larson on the pole, just based off he's good road course racer. I think he can string together a lap. And another guy, I think he started on the pole or started on the front row at Watkins Glen. I think it was last year. I went Ross.
He did
He's
wait
just
here before.
he's just gonna follow SVG around and get the pole like he did. That's his whole game plan.
Well, that's our top two. So we're having a little bit of a format. Oh, actually, no, never mind. I'm jumping the gun here. We're going to talk about and make our race picks. Since there is no trucks pick, we're obviously not going to do that, but I am going to go over our results from last week here before we get into the picks. Cason won the trucks pick with Kyle Busch winning the race. I thought Tyler Ankrum was going to get him there for a second, but he didn't. And Josh Rayoon, Joe's pick, didn't even come close. Actually, I had to look halfway throughout the race to make sure he was actually running. I was like, did Joe just pick somebody random, or
where did he finish?
I have no clue. I didn't even look. I just know Ankrum finished in the top 10. Kyle Busch won.
I believe he finished second twice, actually. 22nd.
Well, so moving on to Xfinity, me stealing Cason's pick worked out well. Sammy Smith was the highest finisher. Then I believe it was Harrison Burton, and Joe, after a really strong week one, came in last again. Actually, I think Joe came in last all three of these picks. So Josh Williams did not perform very well, even though I thought there for a second after his qualifying run, I was like, damn, Joe, you might have another steal with like the Frankie Muniz pick, but it didn't come to be. And then Cup, Cason won with his Rocket Man Ryan Priest pick. My Corey LaJoie pick ended in disaster, and Brad Keselowski ended when. Excuse me.
Actually, both ended at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that who I picked?
You picked Brad.
I didn't even remember who I picked.
For some reason, I thought Joe picked Todd Gilliland, but that was his pole pick.
Yeah, I was like, Todd's doing good.
I'd like to give a heartfelt thank you to Chase Elliott and his car breaking, is what they said, and just spinning out and crashing multiple people.
But
what they said.
You're not going to give a heartfelt thank you to Chase Briscoe or Ricky Stenhouse for doing Chase Briscoe and Ricky Stenhouse things.
I could give them a heartfelt thank you for, crashing, Denny and Centric at the 500. I could give them a heartfelt thank you for, crashing the field like twice last night or Sunday night.
Honorable
But I'm just gonna
mention.
leave it up to Chase Elliott and just deciding to take his car off the wall and allegedly breaking the car and allegedly spinning and getting a caution.
Well, congrats, Cason. Rocket Man Ryan Priest did not flip and won you the picks. Uh, this brings us to Cason has 2 cup wins. He's won back to back, takes an early lead in the standings. Joe and I are tied in Xfinity with 1 apiece, and then Cason and Joe are tied in trucks with each 1 apiece. So Xfinity picks. Joe, you get to bat first. You are the biggest loser.
Oh, I'm going with Ross Chastain because I believe he's racing there this weekend.
I thought you were gonna say Elliot
Yes.
Sawyer.
Elliot Sawyer, hook me up, Elliot.
Cason.
I actually was in a toss-up between about 2 to 3 drivers, Ross being one of them. But then I saw Ross was running 5 races this year, and I was like, do I really want to waste his pick on COTA when he's running like Darlington and Nashville? Nah. Instead, I'm like, you know what? Cup driver's only driving 2 starts this year. The best Hendrick driver in the world, William Byron. And I'm going to go with William Byron because he won the Cup race last year. And I think if anyone's going to beat out Connor Zillage, it's going to be him. Side note, I was a little surprised that SVG isn't running here, but SVG's like running every other road course in the Xfinity Series, basically, including Chicago. And I'm sure whoever gets the first pick heading into Chicago, Sonoma, Glen, somewhere else, probably
Mexico.
gonna be yeah, Mexico. I think was that the other one actually. Okay, yeah, probably gonna be between him and Connor Zillage.
This is very I'm very conflicted here because I want to pick Zilich. I think he's gonna win, but when you have Byron Chastain in the field, I think this pick's better suited for a Portland, maybe, or another road course, a Watkins Glen where he really runs away. So I'm gonna keep him in my back pocket, and I'm actually gonna pick the real Xfinity road course ace, the Charlotte Roval winner, Sam Mayer.
I think it's hilarious that we picked the 3 drivers actually choosing between.
Yeah, Sam was. I was honestly, my heart was set on Zilich when I came in here because I knew someone was going to take Byron first, and then I don't know something. It's like the Green Goblin mask is calling across the room for Sam Mayer.
I mean, he's been fast, and it's really hard to pick Zillich when you do have Chastain and Byron in the race, and Byron's
Yeah,
been really good here.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. All right, Joe. Well, you're teed up for your cup pick.
All right, we all know who I'm going to pick. We all know the guy.
Oh, Kyle Larson,
Nah, I do love him. I love him now. He's grown on me.
love him, love
Good.
him.
Everything
Very
about
good,
him.
the best.
Someone says he clears for Verstappen. I'm gonna take Connor Zillage.
Oh, you.
Intentionally did bad last week. Not really, but I'm gonna chalk it up as intentional.
Get off the pod.
I'm fired again.
Well,
Oh, it's The Apprentice.
you're fired. Get off the pod. Bum Gardner would be a better pick on the pod. All right. Well, I'm gonna go with my other pick because I really thought Joe was gonna pick SVG, so I got to go with SVG now because that's why I brought the Red Bull cars out as my background because I was gonna pick one of the two, but I really thought I was gonna go with Zilich here. But thanks, Joe. I
No
got to
problem,
pick.
man.
I got to pick the best active chartered Cup car at a road course in the field now. So thanks.
When's the next time you can pick Connor Zillage in a cup race?
Well,
You never know.
Yeah. Hopefully, it happens at some point this year at a road course, and it's
I'll
going to
put
be
him
me.
up. I got Helio and Connor Zillage.
So SVG is my official pick. So,
Well,
Cason.
being the big champ. Um, Zillich was a good pick here. As I'm looking through the stuff here, there's a couple drivers who really stood out to me, but I'm gonna pick the best driver who's ever driven at COTA, Alex Bowman, with his I'm just gonna skip ahead a segment. We all picked cup drivers to watch. Alex Bowman, average finish of third at COTA, but he's never led a lap. I think he's gonna
Really?
lead. Yeah,
Never let a laugh.
never led a lap at
See, this
COTA,
would have been
but
this would have been a really good content pick.
He does need
never
to
led
lead
a lap.
laps.
See, but the thing is, Joe, he's gonna lead one lap on Sunday.
Oh, he's gonna be
Great.
Christopher Bell. So he's gonna be coming around in the last couple of turns, and then oh
He's gonna lag out. Crom comes to the line.
Cody Ware is gonna run into Ricky Stenhouse, and they're gonna spin out and not be able to get their cars going, and NASCAR's gonna throw a yellow,
I
and
think
Alex Bowman's
actually,
gonna be leading.
I think God himself's gonna intervene and like throw a lightning bolt down as Alex Bowman's leading.
Oh,
They're gonna call a caution. They're gonna call the red flag. Alex Bowman's gonna win. He's gonna upgrade his 3.0 average finish to like a, I'm not that good at math. I'm gonna be honest, it's like a
I think it'd be like
2.5.
2.6.
what's it? Second, third, and fourth. He's finished.
Yeah.
Yep. So if he gets a 1, 2, 3, 4,
It'd be 2.5.
Okay.
maybe I'm better at math than I thought I was.
Then they'll never race a COTA again.
But yeah, I'm gonna pick Alex Bowman. Like I said, best average finish in the Cup Series. He always seems to run up front.
Well,
And I think he's gonna lead a lap.
well, Cason, since you already segued to our Cup drivers to watch, I will let you finish in just a second. But we are splitting our Cup drivers up to watch segment up a little bit. So we had content picks in this section, but we're moving that to its own thing now, right after our Cup drivers to watch. And along with that, we're going to be adding an Xfinity and when they do run trucks, Xfinity and truck driver to watch. But for not to watch, I'm sorry, for our content picks. And each week we're going to rotate on who gets to pick the content picks for that series. So this week it's me. So that's how we're going to be running things from here on out. But Cason, if you'd like to go on with your Hendrick Glaze pod for your other Cup driver to watch.
Well, you guys know I'm a big fan of this driver. This next one. I already picked Alex Bowman, best statistical driver at COTA in the Cup Series. Next, I'm going to go with one of his teammates. His best teammate, some might say. In the 24 Hendrick Motorsports car, William Byron. 6.0 average finish. We talked about him earlier. Won it last year. He's my Xfinity Mobile. Faster than Xfinity Mobile, possibly. Pick to win the Xfinity race.
Shut the hell up.
Some might
Keep
say
it going, Cason. Milk this thing.
Some might say I have Hendrick Media talking points in front of me. But then why would I pick Alex Bowman if that's the case?
They're handing hundreds into Cason's hand as he's talking. Like, go on.
William Byron has the most laps led at COTA with 70, which actually, I'm not gonna lie, was a lot higher than I thought it was gonna be. It's actually a lot of laps in 3 races.
Yeah, that is.
And a worst finish of 12th in those 3 races, and 12th is his only non-top 5 finish. So that is my Xfinity drivers to watch, Alex Bowman and William Byron.
Thanks, Mr. Hendrick. Thanks, Mr. H. Did a great job there.
I'll be talking to Carson this week.
All right. Well, for my ones to watch, this was actually almost my race pick if I would have went third and Cason and Joe would have taken Zilich and SVG. Yeah, Alex Bowman's led a bunch of no laps and finished very well. And Byron has led a bunch of laps and won a race here. But a guy who's sneakily good with a 6.0 average finish, a top 5 and 2 top 10s in 2 starts is Ty Gibbs. If there is a weekend in a race for Ty Gibbs to break through, unfortunately, it's probably this weekend. I could see it happening. Ty Gibbs gets his first win. We start off with 3 mediocre winners to start the season. And I could see it happen. He's good here. He runs well on road courses in general, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him run up front and win this race. My next one's Austin Cindric, who has a 10.7 average finish, 2 top 10s, 3 top 20s, and 3 starts. This, I was kind of looking down the list. I didn't really want to pick someone who's kind of higher up, more obvious, but with Cindric, he always did very well in the Xfinity series on road courses. Um, Hopefully he's taken a leap in his performance because between his Xfinity starts and Cup starts on the road courses, it's like night and day. Like he was a top tier Xfinity road course driver, goes to Cup, and he's kind of just been meh average. But I think this year he breaks out, starts taking a step forward to becoming the driver we thought he was going to become when he came to the trucks or the Cup Series, excuse me. So yeah, my other one to watch is Austin Cindric. So, Joe.
Not to segue Joe, but I did want to say one thing about Cindric. Um, I do think that if he's going to take a step forward, this is the weekend we're going to see it. I mean, he's always, since we've had Atlanta as a drafting track and Daytona at the start of the season, has run really well to start the season. Had a lot of speed at those tracks. I think if he runs well this weekend, it's going to be a segue to him running well all year.
I agree.
I had one thing before I got to my picks. I just want to know how bad did that hurt to say there, Chris?
About Ty Gibbs.
Yeah.
I
Did
had
a
to
little bit of
swallow.
you die?
I had to swallow all of my pride and give Ty Gibbs his flowers. Yes, it hurt a lot. And I think if Ty Gibbs does end up winning this week, I'm crashing out because I try not to share too many personal feelings on drivers on this podcast and be as unbiased as possible, even though that really hasn't happened very much yet. But Byron, Bell, and Ty Gibbs are all in my bottom 5 drivers and my likings rating. And so if that's to start the season, those 3 winning, you're gonna I might not even just show up next Sunday night. I might have Katie just step in for me.
Me, Katie, and Cason.
It's going to be the Sinclair podcast actually next
I'm
week.
all by myself.
Yeah, I think the scary thing with Ty Gibbs is if he wins, I think it's just going to snowball. As terribly as he's ran these first 2 races, I mean, hell, this is like the first time Kyle Larson's finished the Atlanta race, and the first time he's probably been above 20th in points heading into the 3rd race of the season with these 2. So I don't really put much stock in it, but I think if he wins, it's just going to start snowballing. He's going to win like 3 or 4 races this year.
Yeah,
I can see it.
I agree. So, Joe.
So I'm gonna go with this one. First, I got Christopher Buescher.
I don't like that.
Everyone. I know how everyone loves that. Because he won Watkins Glen last year against SVG, that hurt me. He's averaged 12.3 average finish and 2 top 10s in all 3 starts there so far. I was like, he's gonna probably run top 10 again, more than likely. And this guy, he has 4 road course wins in his career. It's been 10 years. And I'm gonna keep saying his name until he wins. Kyle Busch. Hopefully I'm not jinxing him. Average finish of 13th, 1 top 5, 2 top 10s in all 3 starts at COTA. If it wasn't for that Bell guy, he probably could have had 3 top 10s and 2 top 5s.
Joe, I just want to say I don't think you're the one jinxing him. I think that's Pop.
Yeah, I was about to say it's Richard Childress's watch.
I do love the Chris Buescher pick, Joe.
Now say it right.
Don't.
Christopher.
Don't. No. Look, why do you think I hate Christopher Bell so much? Because if your name's Christopher and you go by Christopher instead of Chris, you're a douche.
Oh, you sound like me, but with Joey's.
Yeah, that's why exactly.
Yeah, we got Eric Foreman in here right now. I love the Christopher Bell pick.
Just saying.
The Chris Buescher pick, Joe.
Christopher Buescher,
as some might say.
Wayne Dale Jr.
I honestly think this is going to be a bold take. I think if we're taking all tracks, plate tracks, intermediate, short tracks, road courses into consideration, I think he's a top five driver in the series. He runs well at all of them. He's kind
Get
of
him in
won
the
at a lot
kitchen.
of them.
Hold on. What did you just say?
Get him in the kitchen.
Did you?
You heard
What
what
did
I
you just
said.
say? Hold on. No,
You heard
say
what
that.
I said.
Hold on. Just wait a second. Give me a second. I'm gonna need you to hold on your thoughts there for just 1 minute.
You're gonna get right next to the espresso machine.
All
My
right.
own
So
personal
please
espresso machine.
repeat what you
Oh,
just said.
I'm over there making a cup right now. I think that Christopher Buescher is a top five driver in the series if we take the entire portion of tracks into consideration. That's road courses, short tracks, plate tracks, intermediates. Your weird ones like Michigan, your Pocono, your New Hampshire.
So, Cason,
Yep.
how can you be
I
a
can actually
top five?
name
I like Chris Buescher. I like him a lot. One of my favorites. He's in my top five of personal drivers. How can a top five driver miss the playoffs?
how does Ross Chastain miss the playoffs? Doesn't
Is
win
Ross
races.
Chastain a top five driver?
No. I could name three of the other ones I have in my top five right now.
I think you guys should put a pin in this
Actually, I could
for a
probably.
little bit later.
I think I could name all four of them right now.
Go ahead.
But
Name your top five. No, I want to hear this. You're already in the kitchen.
my top five, if I had to, pick a driver for all kinds of tracks, whether it's, a Dover, a Pocono, like all kinds of weird, every track type that we have in NASCAR, I would pick Chris Buescher, William Byron, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick.
I have no problem with four of those.
I don't have a problem with three of them.
I I don't. I, I, I think in that metric he's top 10, but top five. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
That's
I guess
that's my bold take of the season. I think Chris Buescher is a top five driver regardless of track. Unless we're gonna push Alex Bowman in the top five there.
How did you burn water in that kitchen?
okay. Well, now that I've gone brain dead for the night, that's the more I think about a case, and the less I think you're wrong, but the more I think, why the hell would you say that?
See, I think
it's I think it's
see,
wrong
I
too.
think the bold take is that it's all tracks here. He's solid. He's solid to good at all tracks. It's like Bowman.
So, what about Blaney?
Bowman?
Blaney's probably the other
Yeah,
driver
I
I
don't
have
know. I don't
pushing
know why
him.
the hell he's saying Bowman.
Bowman would be like 7 or 8, I think, based on
7
all
or 8?
tracks.
What?
If we're taking all tracks into consideration, yes.
He wins at tracks that we don't go to anymore. Like we stop.
But he's solid everywhere.
Because he's in a
run
Hendrick
good at
car.
Chicago.
He's in like the 5th, 6th, 7th best car in the field. Of course, he's going to be solid.
It's my bold take, Chris.
Matty D took a top 10 car with BK Racing at Bristol. What did Alex Bowman do? I'm defending Matty D.
I know. That's why this is okay. The Chris Buescher take, I mean, that's at least in reality. That's based in reality. What has Alex Bowman done other than back into wins and be like Kyle Larson, William Byron, Chase Elliott, a lot of drivers, and then Alex Bowman.
Bowman's the Austin Dillon of Hendrick, Cason.
I mean, I wouldn't go that
my,
far.
I would.
My opinion.
He backed into the roll to Chicago. He backed into what was it, Las Vegas a few years ago when he won 4 races.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have even won Martinsville that year.
My opinion is he's a top 10 driver regardless of track.
No.
If we take every track in there.
No.
No, you can even no, I'm not even gonna entertain this.
This is content. Get to the content picks.
Yeah, we're getting to the content picks before I just get angry and throw my laptop across the room.
Bring this up later.
I think this needs to be a whole separate pod.
Probably.
I mean, actually, it's a pretty good segment based on any track regardless.
Cason, I would
You
agree
keep
with
saying that
more of
word. But
I would agree with more of your drivers if you didn't have Christopher Buescher in it. Yeah, I must keep saying it. And Kyle Larson there. Kyle Larson is dog shit at plate tracks, and he fucks up every chance he gets everywhere else.
No, I think here's my thing of it. Even if he is so bad at plate tracks, everywhere else is just kind of so good. You can't really drop him out of that top 5. It's like Hamlin.
I can.
It's like Hamlin.
I would put Hamlin above Larson right now.
I mean, this also goes with my Hamlin is going to be washed this year take, Chris.
Oh, I mean, he's 45 years old.
Yeah,
that's
that
not really
comes with
exactly a
age.
hot take. I mean,
That's age.
that's probably the most tame thing you've said tonight.
Just so you know, Larson missed the playoffs back in 2020. So how could it be a top 10 driver?
He was
should
too
we get
busy
into my
racing at
content?
Monza.
Should we get into my content pick, Chris?
Yeah, I guess so. I already know who this is, so Joe, you're the only one guessing on this content pick.
Oh, which one are you? Go ahead.
The one that says Cason next to it.
What?
You know, I was looking at drivers, and there's a lot of drivers in there. Actually, Chris, I'm like 99% sure in who yours is. So I'm gonna let Joe guess like my guess too on yours.
Okay.
All right. So you get 2 guesses, Joe.
On both?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Wait,
So I was
Cason, text me. Send me a text.
I'll send you a text as I'm. So as I'm sitting there looking at drivers for COTA, one stood out to me way more than the rest of them did. And I know I said that last week, but this one really stood out to me. This driver average qualifies 8. He's like an average qualifying spot of 8.7. He's considered a good road course driver.
He does have a win on a road course.
Yeah, he does have a win on a road course.
Like in a Cup Series?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But he finishes 27.3 on average.
Wow. That's pretty bad.
Some would say not quite as bad as Larson at Atlanta, but pretty bad.
Before you said he has a win on a road course, I was going to guess Cole Custer for some reason in my head. But I was like, oh yeah, he missed last, 2 years? He only did the first year there, I think.
And he has raced all the races there, I will say. So
okay.
Just think of your road course ringers. It's not Sam Mayer.
Oh damn. There goes my pick. He has a win on a road course. Oh, he only has one on a road course?
He has one on a road course. We're not going to tell you how many. He has one. I'm not going to tell you how many.
I wouldn't. It's not Kyle Busch. It can't be. Because I picked him. I already named his stats. I listened to me. This is the Todd Gilliland of road courses. I'm going to say it's John Hunter Nemechek.
When has John Hunter Nemechek won a Cup race, Joe?
I don't know.
You get one more.
This is called content.
What are you going to say next? That Alex Bowman's a top 10 Cup driver?
No, I wouldn't go that crazy. I'm just calling it now. John Hunter is winning this Sunday.
On top of his 2 top 10s.
That's right.
The King's back.
Winston Cup champion.
This is no, it's not Jimmy Johnson. Said Winston Cup champion. I was like, what the fuck?
No, John Hunter's the Winston Cup champion.
What? I'm calling it now. John Hunter, Winston Cup champion. Yeah, I'm stumped on this one.
Just throw out a name.
Who's won in the Cup Series in the last few years out of road course? Who's not old and washed?
So not Denny Hamlin. Kyle Larson.
No, this is Daniel Suarez.
He's not a Winston Cup champion.
No, I said John Hunter's the Winston Cup champion.
Dang, Joe, did you have too much of Dale Jr.'s vodka?
I think I did. My 3 sips that I took.
Yeah, this is Daniel Suarez. He's raced 27.3 average finish and an average qualifying spot of 8.7.
I totally forgot he won Sonoma.
Yes, he did. He has not done very good at COTA, is the point. So don't pick him on your NASCAR fantasy lineups, probably. He's had a lot of bad circumstances at COTA, but at the same time, I just don't trust him. Moving ahead to the Christopher Torrance content pick. I texted him. I did not. I did, in fact, get this pick right, so I will be abstaining from voting. So, Joe, it's your pick twice now.
Chris looks so happy. His eyes just lit up.
I'm not going
Christopher
to
Bell.
look. There is one other name that's worse than Christopher that you could call me that you're probably going to figure out, but I'm not going to say it because I think if you call me that for the rest of the pod, I will not show up actually.
Is it Tory?
No, that's actually probably a better. Anyways, on to the
Topher.
content pick. Oh, fuck!
Damn you, Topher Grace.
It was my sixth grade math teacher just refused to call me anything other than Topher, and yeah, that was a nightmare of a year. Anyways,
The Dakota Badger name for you.
yeah, exactly. All right, well, Joe, this driver has ran all 3 races. He has a 30.0 average finish with 2 DNFs and a best finish of 15th.
Might I add, he's the worst driver that's ran all 3 races.
Going Austin Dillon.
Nope. You get one more pick.
I'm going with the other Austin Dillon, Bubba Wallace.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew who it was.
How'd you know? What gave it away?
When I was looking up my guy, I was like, oh, I'm gonna put Bubba. Oh wait, somebody already put him. I'll wait.
You should have told me. I'd have found someone else.
I wanted this to happen.
It's the content, Chris.
There's about you know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say.
I wanted it to happen.
We'd get banned. Joe.
I actually had to look my guy up again because I totally forgot who I picked. All started all 3 races. Average finish of 21st on the dot. No top 5s, no top 10s. I totally forgot to look up if he had any DNFs.
Before I guess, hasn't there been, just looking at us all put 3 races, hasn't there been 4 races at COTA technically with the Chase Elliott Rain Masterclass?
That's the first one.
Yeah, that was
And
it's
That was
him.
2020.
I know Reddick won 1. Biden's won 1.
Oh yeah.
Ross won 1.
Yeah, there's
been 4.
Weird.
There's been 4.
Stats are off on that one.
Yeah. The place where we get our stats is wrong.
Wrong. Yeah. So our stats are just to the last 3 races, not counting, but I guess
it's since the new car. That's the stats.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I was gonna say maybe the stats just don't want to cost Mickey Mouse wins, but then again, they're probably gonna count Atlanta last week, and Daytona. So
probably.
Guessing. Chris, can I guess first on this?
Yeah, please.
The no top 5s, no top 10s. I might be wrong on this one, misremembering, but I want to guess Kyle Larson.
It is not.
Austin Dillon.
It is not.
Damn.
I thought about picking Austin Dillon because his stats are a little bit better than Bubba's, I think.
Just barely.
I think it's like by a position. But no. This man single-handedly dominated the Indy Roval when me and Cason were there.
That was my next guess, actually.
Michael McDowell.
That's a good one.
Actually, it is because he's typically been one of the better road racers. It's just, I actually saw that myself because I was like, all these fanfare of Michael McDowell making the playoffs I've seen on Reddit because he's going to win a super speedway or road course, they think. And then I'm scrolling down and I'm like, oh my God, this guy kind of sucks here.
He's not good.
All right. Well, it's time for my second content pick for Xfinity. You guys have to guess. He's 3rd all time in laps led. Well, I don't know because I was under the assumption that they were covering all of the Xfinity races here. So third
Does
in
it still
the,
say three?
I think when you go to Xfinity, it says three races because,
Oh.
yeah. So he's third in lap sled in the last three races here at COTA. He has two top tens with a best finish in ninth and an average finish of 17.0. This is not somebody who you think as a road course ace, but it is a top driver in the series. That's something I didn't want it to be like. I was thinking about picking Brad Perez, but I wanted no hate against Brad Perez. I freaking love the guy, but like want it to be somebody who will probably end up making the playoffs and running full time.
Question, Chris, before I actually make an official guess.
Yeah.
Did he finish second there last year?
Mm,
Like really
no,
randomly.
he has a best finish in ninth. Sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah, I do see that now. It's the Canadian whiskey talking, I guess. So I know who it's not. Joe, you can guess first.
So not Austin Hill. Got it.
think oh
Uh, third all time.
Is it
well,
Sheldon?
third in the last three races.
I'm gonna say AJ Allmendinger.
Cason's that your final pick?
Yes, my final pick is Sheldon.
It is Sheldon Creed. Sheldon,
you
can you take me higher, Creed?
you would pick that fucking Jimmy Spencer bum.
I wanted to pick Sheldon. I was like, I don't know who I'm going to pick here. Everyone's not like that horrible when looking at the stats. It was either him or it was him, Brad Perez, or Jeb Burton. I was stuck between.
I would have respected Jeb.
The, the reason I knew it wasn't Allmendinger, Joe, is I think Allmendinger's won two of the three races, or the last three races there, like two of the three. So
Is he racing this weekend?
no, he's not.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say I want to change my pick if he is.
No, no, I figured him or SVG would be, which is why I kind of found it so surprising that neither of them would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's why we're going with Willie B.
All right. Well,
The best Hendrick driver.
if you don't have any Hendrick Motorsports talking points, no, none of that. Is there anything else anyone would like to add before we move on to our random topics?
I don't
Just
think
that
so.
US Canada was rigged.
Well, that's okay. That's our random topic. So let's go. Silver, if you're listening, go ahead and shut the pot off. All right. I don't watch a lot of hockey.
Shows.
I know it's you're gonna listen to me here. All right. That was rigged. America should have won. It was very sad. It was a poor performance by the refs. I don't know what was worse, the refs in that game or NASCAR officiating last night, but we know Joe toes the referee line, so he's gonna shill for both of them. So
Don't listen to
yeah,
him, Elton.
it was rigged. It was rigged. I'm sorry. They didn't want America to win. Nobody wants America to win. And how can you judge who wins a tournament or whatever if you go 1-1 with a team? If that's the system, then honestly the whole thing is just beyond screwed up. And if that's the case, I'm just going to claim right now it was an American victory. So because of the rigged refs and the rigged system and no Russia or whatever other country Joe said got left out of the
Czech
four
Republic,
nations. Yeah. Yeah. America wins.
France.
America 1776. We are the champs. So cry about it, Joe. I'm going to go cry in my car later.
I would like to say, as a fan of hockey of the early 2010s, when I watched a lot of Chris Pronger Flyers, Sidney Crosby, Pittsburgh Penguins, both I saw in person. Um, a lot of, perhaps you say it, PK Subban Canadians and Shio Eberk, Nashville Predators, not the Jeffrey Epstein kind. Um, it was rigged. It was the most rigged hockey game I've seen in my life. I've watched a couple hockey games in my life, like, I don't know, 30, 40. I've been to a fair amount of hockey games being in Minnesota, which is the Canadian equivalent of America, outside of maybe Maine. Um, I get to go to a hockey game this year, need to get to one. I live like, I don't know, 18 minutes from a hockey arena. It was the most rigged hockey game I've ever seen in my life. Rigged, I say.
It's very sad.
Very sad. Very sad. Um, and that's my opinion of it. It was just rigged. It was sad to see, the best hockey player in the world score a game-winning goal. That's just, that's how rigged it is.
It was a Cinderella moment in the NHL. They,
Very Cinderella.
they had to give the Canadians something because none of their teams ever won the Stanley Cup, and it's all American teams. And Joe can cry about how many Canadian players are on these rosters. It's over 50%. Da 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 da. But there's a reason. The Flames, the Maple Leafs, the Canucks, whatever other irrelevant Canadian teams are in the NHL. I don't know if there's probably got to be one or two more there, right, Joe? Or did I list them all?
How many did
Like
you
five or
list?
six.
I think I named three.
There are 7.
7? Wow. And none of them can, what's there, 30 teams?
There's 32.
32? Oh, okay. Yeah. Because they had the expansion with Seattle and Las Vegas. Yeah. And none of those teams can win the freaking Stanley Cup. That is sad. So, yeah, it just feeds into my point that the NHL rigged this so that Canada could actually get a win in something the NHL sponsors. So, that is my official take. Talk yourself in a circle like Elton Sawyer, Joe.
I just want to say my last point here. There was no Russia, like one of my favorite players of all time, Pavel Datsyuk, one of the greatest
What?
NHL players of all time. Played for the Detroit Red Wings. Great NHL franchise, one of the best of all time. No Henrik Zetterberg, one of the other greatest players of all time for a great franchise, the Detroit Red Wings.
It's been retired. You're
Um,
naming off retired players.
I do have something to say. I don't know who it was, but there was a player on the Canadian national team who's from Syracuse, New York, and I'm assuming has one Canadian parent. So even if Canada won, America still wins because there was an American on that roster. Go USA, 1776. We are the champs. Word salad that, Joe. Word salad that.
I'm probably the only one that watches hockey every night.
You've shown up to the podcast 2 times in a row in a shark sweatshirt, so I'm sure that's the case.
Yes.
I no longer have my Claude Giroux jersey, so yes, that's the case.
I agree with you that there was no Russia, there's no Switzerland, there's no Czechia, there was no what was that other team?
Like Transylvania?
No, not Transylvania. But that would be cool.
Was it
there's
the
none of
51st state, Greenland?
No, there was none of these teams. There was no Ovi. There's no Timo Meyer. I know these names sound foreign to you. There's no Nico Hischier. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't.
Which is why I put this. Like it wasn't that important to me.
No Malkin?
Yeah, there's no Malkin, Russia. There's no Tomáš Hertl, Czechia. There's no Anze Kopitar, Slovakia.
No,
you know what they should do?
Huh?
They should come to America, become American citizens, and win for a real country.
So anyway, I put the Olympics at the top, then the Stanley Cup, this World Cup shit, the 4 nations stuff. I didn't. It's lower than the juniors for me because there's no other actual full countries in this. There's no. It's just 4. Like, oh, this is Gary's a sad attempt at pulling his Olympics. That's what it was to me.
Is it because America tied Canada?
No,
that's exactly what it is.
Gary's Canadian.
That's why they won.
Gary was the
that's why
vice
they
president
won.
of the NBA in the 80s.
Oh, that's why the NBA is the way it is now.
Exactly.
I agree. Gary sucks. There has been a Canadian Stanley Cup since Gary's shown up.
And that's why he wanted to get Canada this Four Nations win. And that's why it was rigged.
Because he knows America's winning the Olympics next. Is it next year?
You haven't
Chris?
won the Olympics since 1980.
Well, and hockey in the Olympics hasn't mattered since 1980. So, I mean,
Joe, did you see that intro? Did you see Kurt Russell talking to those American players?
No, I didn't. Because that movie's terrible and I hate it. It's stupid.
That is the greatest, most patriotic movie that's been released.
It's a cult classic, you could say. It's so cult nobody watches it.
What else is an American movie? The Patriot?
I don't watch movies. We've been over this.
what? We literally had a conversation about movies we like.
And
Like-
I only watch comedies and kids' movies. I only
Hey,
watch
Joe.
Step Brothers and Sonic.
Hey, Joe. Ooh, Tarantino films. Ooh.
Ooh.
But
Twilight. Ooh.
oh my god, I only watched one of those and I hated every minute of it.
So did I.
Yes.
I will not comment because Katie is listening.
Can we talk about our cookout glaze now?
Now I want to talk about hockey and how you guys are wrong and how you don't know the rules and why you think it's rigged.
No, I know the rules. I don't know the rules. It doesn't matter.
What were we talking about? The too many men over the boards they didn't get called when the puck was by the boards.
That doesn't matter, Joe. It's rigged.
Yeah, because you don't know.
I don't have to give specifics because it's rigged.
Because
That's how this works, right?
With you're in 4 feet of the bench and the
Joe,
puck goes near the bench, as long as you don't touch the puck, you're fine.
Do you know how this works in America?
No, because I'm Canadian.
As long
now.
as you
in
keep
this
saying,
moment, I am Canadian.
as long as you keep saying it's rigged, it's obviously rigged. So it's rigged, and
Guys,
that's that.
Watch more hockey. Just watch
I
more
do-
hockey.
I don't have
wanna
knowledge
say-
Understand the rules.
Sean McDonough, who was explaining the game to millions of Americans, being that not controversial take to all of us, this is actually the most watched hockey game, I think, since like 2019. It's like 9.2 million viewers. I want to say the most watched hockey game since the St. Louis Blues and
In America, yeah.
yeah. No, this was this just America?
That was just
Okay.
America.
I said
Because
there's
it
like
was
7
6
million
million in Canada.
Yeah.
Because Canada
this
only
is-
has
so
3 channels, Cason.
Yeah. It's
Hockey's on all
TSN,
3 of them.
TSN1, and TSN2.
This was, but point being, this is one of the most viewed hockey games in a while, if not honestly ever outside of the Olympics, right, Joe?
Like, probably since the Olympics.
Yeah. So I do want to say this is great to grow the game. I honestly enjoyed hockey a lot as like a about 10 to 16-year-old before it just seemed like the NHL just kind of died off to a national audience.
Yep. And they put their games on Versus that no one watched.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, Joe. That was part of the reason it kind of died off to me, was I just couldn't find most of the games.
Couldn't
and
find
then-
Versus.
And then when I could find a game, it was like, oh, the LA Kings are about to win their 3rd Stanley Cup. Oh, the Blackhawks are about to win again.
They
Oh,
only
here
have
comes
2.
Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane, or Drew. Was it Drew Daughtry on the Kings?
Chris Daughtry, the musician, got his 3rd Stanley Cup with Chicago.
It's embarrassing that I watched that team in a shootout win. But yeah. Point being, hockey kind of died off because it just disappeared from main channels.
And now it's on the up and up. It's everywhere. Take that,
But-
basketball.
Yeah,
Charles
honestly,
Barkley likes us more now.
it's exciting to watch hockey to me. I like watching people try to beat each other up. I honestly have been online looking at tickets like, when are the Wild not going to cost $120 to go watch on a day I can go watch them?
Give him 2 more years.
Yeah, true. But yeah, point being, I enjoy hockey. I want to watch more hockey. America should have won if it wasn't for the rigged drafts.
Oh, and you brought the dual citizenship that one guy had. In
Oh, yeah.
In 2010, another time when Canada beat America in hockey. You guys might be too young to remember that. On that team was 5 Shark players, and one of them was German on Team Canada in the Olympics.
Oh, hold up. Tomorrow
And
night
that
there's a
man's
game-
name was Danny Heatley. Heat Daddy.
Hold up. Tomorrow night there's a game for $59 that I can go to with fees. Oh, is that the Red Wings at the Wild?
Go boo him for me. Boo both of them. Root for the refs.
Oh, like you and Elton?
Yes. And Connor McDavid, you left them all alone. What do you think is going to happen in front of the net?
Yeah,
He's
I'm gonna be
the
honest, Joe.
all-time best currently active player.
As much as I don't watch hockey outside of like 5 games a year, maybe, when I saw who scored that goal, I was like, huh, what do you expect to happen?
That's like leaving $100 in front of me and say, "Don't take it." I'm going to take it. This is my money
Like,
now.
honestly, who does he think he is? Austin Matthews missing all these goals?
Mr. Broken Wrists. Yeah.
Joe, it was rigged.
It wasn't. You
It
guys
was
just don't
rigged.
know. You guys just don't know
Just,
hockey.
look, I need you to go in depth and tell me why it wasn't rigged.
I was just telling you why I wasn't rigged because you don't
No,
know the rules.
no, you didn't. You didn't.
The American
You're
mind doesn't
explaining it.
understand
You're
the
explaining
Canadian
it
game.
wrong. You're explaining it wrong. I understand basketball perfectly. That's a Canadian game.
How many Canadian teams are in basketball?
There is one.
How many Canadians play in the NBA?
Like 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shea
Think
Gilgeous-Alexander.
There
a
hasn't
bunch
been
of
a
bums.
Canadian player since Steve Nash. Thanks for watching. You just don't get it.
I think I get it perfectly, Joe.
Go watch a Hurricanes game, all right?
I have.
Get back to me.
Look, I have watched a Hurricanes game before. And
Before.
actually I have watched them in the last year or so. When we got to the playoffs.
And you were totally lost the entire time.
No, Joe, I minorly understand hockey. I just think America should have won that because it was rigged. Because the
Actually, Chris,
Sorry?
you continue before I have one more point.
No, you can keep making your points. I'm just stalling.
I know
I
you
was
are.
just gonna say, if this was a real tournament, I do agree with Joe for a point. This wasn't a real tournament. If this was a real tournament, we had overtime. It was better than overtime. Shootouts.
I hate shootouts so much.
I
Joe
once
hates
went to an
excitement.
NHL game that went to
Shootouts are dumb.
the 18th round of a shootout, Joe.
With what, a TJ Oshie going again and again?
No, it was
There
a
you go,
Minnesota Wild Nashville Predators game. We were in the depths of shootouts so far, Joe, that the third string D line was in there.
Third string D
line. Third line. Get it right. See, I know hockey.
The seventh defenseman went out there. So that's the fourth string because there's 4 D lines.
If I'm not mistaken, I think the winning goal might have been scored by Matt Cullen.
Who?
Exactly.
That's not Eric Stahl, honorary American.
That's not Charlie Coyle.
Okay,
that is
guys,
American.
I hate to break this up, but we are running way long, and
I want to keep yelling about hockey.
We'll have our own hockey pod later, Joe. It's fine. So real quick here, we're gonna do a segment if we have time, but we don't have time today, but we're still gonna do it on our top 3 things. This week it is fast food chains. Cason, list them.
We're going by okay.
No, top 3. Doesn't matter what criteria. Top 3. Top 3 to you.
All fast food.
All fast food has to be a place that has a drive-through and that can get you in food in under 10 minutes.
What if I call it food not fast food, but food done quickly?
No, it has to be fast food. Has to have some arches, bells, or something along the lines of that.
Or ways.
Okay. Considering the drive-through criteria, I'm excluding Five Guys.
Yeah,
makes sense.
If we're excluding Five Guys, I'm gonna go in. Do you want it in order or no particular order?
Third to first.
Okay. Third to first. Number 3 of my greatest fast food chains. We're gonna go Jack in the Box. I can't get it around here. When I've gotten it, it's pretty solid and it's really cheap. Mr. Sinclair and I got it in Indianapolis after he drove me back to our Airbnb that a bunch of sirens drove by like 3 times at night.
I didn't hear a single one.
I did. It was a lot of them. But you know what? I woke up the next morning. I drank like 12 spiked Arnold Palmers. Watched Michael McDowell win a race. and then I ate some Jack in the Box. It was a great day. And I smoked a cigar outside. Number 2 on the greatest fast food joints, and this is because there isn't any around me, Cookout. I will be eating Cookout in, about 9 months from now when I take my bourbon distillery tour in Kentucky. Apparently, there's one in Frankfort, Kentucky, where I'm going to be staying for a night or two. Pretty excited about that. Really cheap prices, pretty solid food. Can't go wrong. And number 1, because it's less than a mile from me. And Mr. Sinclair's actually been to this very establishment on the first night that he came to Minnesota. It is Taco Bell.
Chef's kiss.
I love Taco Bell. It's like the only fast food that's cheap around here, and the only fast food that's probably cheap outside of Cookout these days. It's the only fast food that still has fast food pricing,
Close to it.
and it's pretty solid. And also, if there's one fast food joint that's kind of established in the new age and like trying to be relevant with all these like weird new foods and different kinds of foods in general, it's Taco Bell. They have like 20 new combos coming in 2025. They had all kinds of new combos in 2024. They brought us the Baja Blast and Mountain Dew combos to stores, which is great.
Hashtag ad.
I don't think this man's been working for. I'm not going to list off your employer, Cason. I think he's been lying to us this whole time. He's not been hitting the calculators. He's been hitting the grade F beef.
He's been hitting the cash register.
But okay, who can't love a good cheap fast food place is my point.
No, I love Taco
And
Bell.
Chris, I'm gonna pass it off to you now.
Okay. Actually, I'm gonna have to. Okay, there we go. Sorry, my ear was doing something funky there. Number three. I'm gonna have to give it to Bojangles. It is a staple of Southern institutions. Unfortunately, however, in recent years, it has taken a nosedive in terms of quality. The CEO, what Cason was that?
Especially in Illinois.
Yeah, well, I mean, that you never gonna. It's like I'm kind of considering if you're getting Cookout in Kentucky is a good idea. It's kind of like the same idea. Like that sweet tea, I need to try just to make sure it's right. But I like Bojangles. I want to give an honorable mention before I go off my list. I don't get this very often, but I always love going to Sonic. Um, the food is hit or miss, and it depends on what you get. But I always love getting like their slushies and stuff like that. Love the vibe of Sonic. Bring back the roller skates.
I just like making people roller skate out there to me when it's like fucking 25 degrees and icy outside.
In case it says, "Oh, this isn't mine." what it is.
Number 2, I'm gonna have to go with. This is probably the normie choice, but I do like some McDonald's. I have a soft spot. Do love the McDouble when they're cooked right. The fries are pretty good. They actually have probably. Honestly, everything I've listed here is probably not based on the actual food. It's probably based on the sweet tea. McDonald's has pretty solid sweet tea. I love some McDonald's sweet tea. And number 1, Cason's already mentioned it. It is my beloved Cookout with their awesome $8 Cookout trays where you get enough food for 2 meals. The shakes are awesome. They stay open till like 2, 3 in the morning. So, you're out with your buddies, you're driving home, you're tired, you're hungry, and you see the beacon of light of a Cookout sign, the sponsor of the Bowman Gray race. I love me some Cookout, and that is my list. Joe,
I've never had the opportunity to have Cookout, and I probably never will.
he won't go back down the mountains.
I refuse to go back down the mountains.
But Joe, you can just go to Frankfort, Kentucky.
That's true. I could, but then I'd be in Kentucky.
You
They don't have
whiskey.
They don't have any pro sports there.
Kentucky and Motor Speedway, Joe.
That's not a pro sport.
But Joe, it's our beloved.
That's where Cole Custer won.
Oh, that's where I got a flat tire and Cason stormed past me. Picked up his win.
So RFK made their last stand.
I'm gonna give an honorable mention of Jack in the Box. because I'll agree Jack in the Box was great that night. And it was really cheap too for DoorDash prices. that what did my dad call them? The hangover taco special. Those tacos are great. They're like that big. But
And they're so cheap, Joe.
oh my god, it was like $1. Even the burger was cheap. Like that the jalapeno burger. I think you got that. I think it was like what $2 on DoorDash. That was great.
It was a magical night, Joe. Between Michael McDowell and Jack in the Box, it was like a top 5 night that I'll ever have in my life.
This magic moment.
I'm not gonna ask any questions about that night.
Then I could hear the sirens all night long in Indianapolis.
The scenic scenes of Indianapolis.
The grass growing long, the cars and yards.
All right, I got number 3. I'm gonna go Bojangles. I've had it a few times. I love Bojangles. I've had it in North Carolina. I've had it in Columbus, Ohio. I still liked it.
Hey, shout out to Buck.
Oh man, I should have visited Buck when I was down there. So I'm gonna skip number 2 because I think you guys are gonna hate it. But number 1, no, I'm gonna go number 1. Number 1's Taco Bell. I love me Taco Bell. I could eat Taco Bell all day. I'd missed out on the Baja Blast gelato. Missed out on that, but I did get that caramel apple empanada though.
What is your number 2, Joe?
Is that a Juicy Lucy, Joe?
No, I go to this place once a month, maybe once every 2 months. I keep it special because I got sick off of it once, but it keeps coming back to me. Long John Silver's.
Oh, I like some Long John Silver's.
I love Long John Silver's, but I gotta keep it away. Then I bring it in, keep it away. Oh man,
they shut down all the Long John Silver's here. But the thing is I would never get fish there. I would just get the most unhealthiest thing, which was just the crunchies, just the pieces of batter that came off the fish.
The hush puppies?
No. It was literally just like the batter crunches.
Just the fried grease.
Pretty much. And I would put malt vinegar over it. And I'd usually get it. I ate that a shit ton as a kid. So wonder I'm not dead.
This was just like 3 or 4 months ago. We had a Long John Silver's day at work. And I was like, I went around going like, do you want fish or chicken? It doesn't matter. They both taste the same. Where the chicken tastes like fish and the fish tastes like chicken. There's only one Long John Silver's by me, and it was shut down because there was a kitchen fire, and it rised from the ashes like a phoenix to come back after a 4-year wait.
I'm gonna be honest, Joe. I've never actually had Long John Silver, so I can't hate on it.
You're not missing anything.
Point being is that they only had one where I'm from for like 2 years, maybe when I was young, and then it shut down because it was like one of those Long John Silver's KFC kind of things that was together, and then it shut down. And then I honest to God don't know the last time I saw one outside of maybe it was probably when I was in Oklahoma, to be honest.
Picture this, Cason.
Well, hold on,
Okay.
Joe, for you, because you probably have more elegant view. Cason, the best way I can describe it is it's Hardee's lunch, not breakfast. It's Hardee's lunch quality food, but fish and chicken.
Probably, yeah.
I'd like to give an honorable mention too to Culver's.
I do like
Wisconsin
Culver's.
establishment.
I've had
Really good food. I'm gonna be honest, makes my top 3 easily if it didn't cost like $7 for a double cheeseburger.
I think the sourdough melt that I get costs like $10 here.
That's my problem with Culver's it is honestly probably the highest quality fast food. It's just it costs so much money that it's like borderline restaurant pricing for food.
Besides that, they make frozen custard, and I think that's disgusting.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a custard fan. If I'm gonna get ice cream from a fast food place, I'm pulling it to Dairy Queen, getting a Blizzard, getting that pure high fructose corn syrup.
So, Joe, what am I picturing, or what is Cason picturing?
Okay, Cason, picture this. You're on the high seas. All right. You're Blackbeard the pirate. All right.
Ark.
And a small fog rolls in, and you hear the siren call go like singing to you. What siren songs do they sing? Like "Dance on the Ceiling" by Lionel Richie. And and you grab the binoculars or the periscope or whatever from your first mate, Tim. We'll call him Tim.
No
and
reason.
You look into the distance.
Nice name.
And you see the majestic beauty that is Long John Silver's.
You go in, Cason. You eat your fish that tastes like chicken, or your chicken that tastes like fish, like
and
Joe
you
said.
get the hush puppies.
And yes, and you eat your meal, and you are satisfied. You're so satisfied on the way out, you ring a bell.
That's right. And everyone thanks you for it.
Yes.
Then you set off again on your next adventure.
You
But
are Todd
then
Gilliland.
yeah.
Hold up.
I was
Hold
gonna say
up.
then you take a shit because it's really greasy and it's bad for you.
There's actually one in the Minneapolis area. There's one in the Mall of America. I might have to go there this weekend now. After this review.
Long John
Just eat Long
Silver's
John
update
Silver.
with Cason.
I might
Cason.
have to fight off the crowds of like 8,000 people that are at the Mall of America on any given weekend. Probably like 10 to 12,000, honestly, because it's like, fun fact, the Mall of America gets more annual visitors than Disney World.
I thought it was
So
Mall of
that's why
Mexico now.
Yeah, the Mall of Mexico.
No.
The Mall of Mexico gets more annual visitors than Disney World, and it really sucks to go to unless you get there at 10 a.m. when it opens on the weekend.
Well, don't worry,
That's the
Cason.
only-
You're going to Long John Silver's. You're going to get 2 people.
Cason. Now I have to
Yes.
ask you this question. When does the Mall of America close?
I want to say on a weekday, 8 p.m. and 6 p.m. on the weekends.
So I think what needs to happen here is on one of our Monday pods, you go bring some Long John Silvers and bring it here and try it on the pod.
I'm all for it.
It actually closes at 10 p.m. every day. My bad. I'm not really sure how because the Mall of America itself closes at like 6 p.m. on a weekend.
The seas
on a
are
Sunday
never
for sure.
closed, Cason.
It's time,
But
Cason.
have you ever seen those like Instagram reels where the people just wander around the Mall of America or the Mall of Mexico until like 2 in the morning because nobody kicks them out because nobody cares there? That's just the Long John Silvers, apparently. They just are like open, the sales are set.
They kick him out, but they put him in Long John Silver's.
Long John himself is out there. He's looking. And I think I might need to get it for the next pod.
Yar.
All right, fellas.
Hey,
Well,
before you end it, Chris, Cason, when you go to Long John Silver's, make sure you get the hat, the pirate hat.
That'd
well,
be a good
fellas,
addition.
it's been good. Cason and I are going to sit by the fire and enjoy our drinks. Joe's going to be at the top. Thanks for listening to this very long podcast that has taken, I think it's an hour and a half right now. Unintentionally long, but if you're still listening, thank you. Rate us on Spotify and drop us a like on YouTube and comment on wherever. And if there's anything you don't like about us, then, keep it to yourself. If there's anything you like about us, let us know so we can stroke our egos a little bit more. Thanks, everybody. You'll have a good night.